What if the real reason you're stuck with the postpartum weight loss isn't because you're not disciplined enough, you're not doing enough, but it's actually because you're focusing on the wrong things? Today, in this podcast episode, I'm going to be walking you through the 5 foundations that actually support fat loss, not just weight loss. So when we're talking weight loss, I don't want you to think we're losing muscle too, because we don't want any of that. We just want to lose fat and we want to hold on or build muscle. So we're going to talk about the 5 foundations that actually support that, support fat loss, your energy, because we need so much energy as mothers, no matter where you are in your motherhood journey. And we're also going to talk about having confidence after having your babies, without extremes, without burnouts, without all the diets and the rigid rules. This one is for you, mama. Enjoy today's episode. Feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, or like you've lost yourself in the postpartum chaos? Whether you're 4 weeks postpartum, 2 years in, or done having babies, you deserve to feel like yourself again. Hey mama, I'm Val, a functional sports dietitian, postpartum fitness coach, and a mama who understands exactly what you're going through. Welcome to the Strong and Nourished Mama podcast, where you'll find simple, science-backed strategies to heal your core, rebuild strength, and restore your energy without the overwhelm. If you're ready to go from depleted to strong, nourished, and unstoppable, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Before we jump in, I want to quickly share this message from Gabriella, who left this review on the podcast. I love listening to Val. She's very informative and very motivating. I highly recommend this podcast to all the mothers out there. Thanks, Val. Reviews like this truly mean the world to me. Thank you so much, Gabriella, for taking the time to leave this review. It also helps get the podcast into all the moms' hands out there, which I'm truly grateful for. And it's exactly why I created what I'm about to share with you. If you've been putting off just starting and doing it and focusing on you just because everything feels too complicated or overwhelming or time consuming, this is for you, mama. The Start Strong, the Mom's Core Strength and Energy Workshop is designed to help you finally feel clear on where to start and what actually matters postpartum. And remember, after you have a baby, you're postpartum. Once a child is born, a mother is born. And whether you're 5 years postpartum, 10 years postpartum, or maybe you're in the first 3 months after having your baby, this is for you. It's happening on January 7th at 4 p.m. at Mountain Standard Time. It's live on Zoom. Yes, it's going to be recorded. Everyone who signs up will be getting the recording along with the bonuses. And inside this free workshop, I'm going to be walking you through how to rebuild your core and your pelvic floor safely. There's so much out there on social media, on TikTok, on Instagram, what you're hearing from so-and-so on how to rebuild your core and your pelvic floor safely. And I want to teach you the way that's going to be sustainable, a way that's going to work, and something that's not going to take over your whole life because we have so many other things that we need to do. We're going to talk about how to approach strength training without wrecking your body or your schedule. So you don't have to spend hours in the gym to reach your goals, your strength goals, your body composition goals, your endurance and performance goals, none of that. We're also going to talk about how to support your energy, your metabolism, and your recovery as a busy mom. So this is just something that is sustainable. It's not something that's going to be this quick fix or let's hurry up and burn off everything that we gained during pregnancy. No, none of that. We want to be able to support our energy, support our metabolism, and recover in a way that's truly going to be helpful for our bodies mentally and physically. So what do we focus on right now? That's what we're going to talk about in the workshop as well, so that we're not overthinking and making this more difficult. We're not going to be talking about dieting, which diet you need to follow, which strict way of eating you need to follow. I'm not going to tell you that you need to spend hours in the gym, and we're not going to make you focus on perfection. That's not required. Just simple, realistic steps that you can actually follow in real mom life. And here's an awesome bonus. Everyone who registers will be automatically entered in to win a free 30-minute nutrition coaching session with me, plus an endurance stack and electrolytes package from Trail Gains, because we know motherhood is an endurance sport. We need that endurance stack. We need to stay hydrated with the electrolytes, and Trail Gains is here to support that. So I'm very excited to be offering that that bonus to one lucky winner, whoever signs up for the workshop. You can save your spot right now at wellnessbyvel.com/workshop. You're going to get more information and you'll be able to register. It's free. I'll send you the Zoom link on January 7th. You'll be able to log in or watch the replay after. And that's something that I'm really excited to be sharing with you in the new year. So let's start strong, mama. Now, let's get back into today's episode. Today, we're talking about postpartum weight loss. Now, we're not talking about, let's put this clear, we're not talking about bouncing back. We're not talking about having your baby and then starving ourselves, exercising and going to the gym 2 weeks postpartum or starting to run too soon. We're not talking about that when it comes to postpartum weight loss. Specifically, what we're talking about today is when you get to a point where you feel stuck. You're doing the things that you need to be doing. You're progressing slowly. You're focused on healing. You're showing up. You're not seeing the results that you expected. In episode 70, I talked about why postpartum weight loss can stall. So we talked about underfueling, which is huge. This is huge. I talk about this with moms every single week. Chronic stress. It's hard not to be stressed as a mom. There's so many little things thrown at our way. And we also talked about pushing your body before it's fully supported. Okay, so that's episode 70. So if you haven't listened to that, go check out that episode. Today, we're going to be following up on that. We're going to be talking about what actually matters because postpartum progress doesn't come from doing more. It comes from focusing on the right foundations. Let's put the foundations down before we start picking cabinets in our house, before we start picking granite and carpet and getting our furniture. We have to have the foundations. Let's first get the plans, then the dirt work, and then we can go from there, okay? And it's really about consistency when it comes to these foundations. So today I'm going to be breaking down the 5 things that move the needle most for postpartum fat loss. Again, we do not want to lose muscle. That is sacred. That is sacred. We do not want to lose her. She is what keeps us strong and sane, okay? And after having your baby, at least for me, I felt like all of my muscle was just sucked out of me. Like I was just like in a body cast. I was like, where's my muscle? Like I was looking at my legs. I was like, what is happening? Where did my calf go? And that's because I was feeding my baby. I was breastfeeding. I just grew a human for 9 months. I gave birth. It's the most intense workout, labor and birth, the most intense workout ever. No matter if you're having a vaginal or a cesarean, that is hard on the body. And we want to be able to preserve that muscle mass. So again, we're not talking about stepping on the scale and just getting to the lowest number ever, because that number on the scale is just telling you your relationship to the ground. That's it. It's not telling you who you are as a person. And it's also not telling you what you're made up of. It's not telling you you're fluid. It's not telling you about, your lean body mass, which includes fluid, your organs, your skin, and of course your skeletal muscle. So it's definitely not looking at and telling you how much skeletal muscle mass you have. So we're really going to dive into those 5 things that are really going to help you move the needle. It's also going to help with confidence. It's going to help with energy. It's not going to be something that's super extreme. You're probably going to be like, whoa, that's like very simple and basic. Yes, we want to focus on the large boulders, not the little tiny pebbles or the sexy little things or the cool things that we see on TikTok. We want to focus on these foundations. These are the same 5 areas I focus on with my clients. It's what I focused on after I had my baby girl. And it's something that I dive deeper into in my program, the Strong, Nourished, and Energized Mom Method program, because they work. They work. And when we're consistent with it, we focus on progressive overload. Whether you're 3 months postpartum or you're years into motherhood, these foundations work. And that's why I want to share it with you today. If you've been feeling overwhelmed by conflicting advice, which we get all the time, or stuck in this all or nothing thinking, this all or nothing mindset of going all out after the holidays, I'm not going to drink, I'm not going to eat out, I'm going to be very strict, I'm going to undereat, I'm going to overexercise, you're going to get burned out with that. And then all of a sudden, we're not going to be doing that anymore. Or maybe unsure of where to put our energy. Where do we put our energy? We don't have a lot of energy as moms. And so this episode is going to give you clarity on that. One of the biggest reasons moms feel frustrated postpartum, again, no matter where you are in that journey, it's because they're told to focus on everything. Everything. Macros, workouts, supplements, steps, stress, sleep, go to the gym X times a week, lift super heavy weights, get this amount of protein, make sure you get this supplement and do this. And you have to bounce back all at once. Oh, and don't forget, you have to take care of your baby too, or babies if you have multiple kids. That is exhausting. That is exhausting. So instead, I want you to think about postpartum progress like building a house, just like I explained. It's just like building a house. If the foundation isn't solid, it doesn't even matter how pretty the rest looks, because things won't hold. Shit's going to fall apart. It's going to be a hot mess. We don't want to be a hot mess. So these 5 foundations are going to support your hormones, your metabolism, your nervous system, and your muscle. We need to support that, which is exactly what drives sustainable results postpartum. So foundation number 1, protein. Okay. Now, before we dive into this, actually, I want to let you know, focus on one thing from this episode. I want you to focus on one thing. So I'm talking about these foundations. You're not going to just start with all of them. You're going to choose one and you're going to progress from there. So in my program, it's 8 weeks for a reason. We start with small things and we slowly progress over the weeks. And then you get access to the program, not just for 8 weeks, but for 12 weeks. And there's a bonus for those who sign up for the workshop at wellnessbyval.com/workshop. There's a bonus because I don't even want to share it. I got to keep my lips sealed. But sign up because you're going to be getting a bonus for that program. But you're going to get an extra amount of time in the program to implement everything that you have learned. So one thing at a time, okay? Don't think you have to do it all at once. These are the 5 foundations. Foundation number 1 is protein. For healing, for muscle, for metabolism, we love protein. It is a non-negotiable postpartum. I'm not asking you to go carnivore. I'm not asking you to do that. I prefer if you don't do that. But if that's something you want to do, that's on you. You get to choose. I'm not asking you to do that though. I'm just telling you how important protein is. And we can get protein from so many different sources. And this isn't because of dieting. It's because protein is made up of amino acids, which are the building blocks. And we need these amino acids to support muscle rebuilding. So after you give birth, your tissue is basically ripped apart almost, whether it's vaginal or cesarean. A cesarean, you're cutting through multiple layers of tissue. That needs to heal. That needs to recover. And protein is part of that recovery. It's also going to help stabilize blood sugar. So you're not going up and down. We're going to have this steady, beautiful flow for our blood sugar. So it's going to also help with satiety. It's going to help with keeping us satiated and having that energy. It's going to help preserve that skeletal muscle mass. If we're not getting enough protein, we're going to be pulling from our skeletal muscle, from your bicep, from your quads to be able to get those amino acids in other areas of the body. So amino acids and protein, it's not just used for muscle, it's used in every single cell in the body. And it's very, very important. It's also going to help you lose fat. So it's going to help you preserve that skeletal muscle as well as the lean body mass. And it's going to help you lose that fat mass. So your body can actually utilize fat for energy. Most moms are under eating protein without realizing it. And when we can be strategic with our protein intake, bring some awareness to it, it can be really easy. At first, it may feel like a full-time job, like, oh my gosh, all I'm doing is eating protein and chewing and I can't handle it. But if we slowly progress, like what I teach in my program and what I'm going to teach in the workshop, then you're going to get to a point where it's going to be super easy for you to get your minimum amount of protein needs, especially when you're busy or when you're skipping meals and grazing all day. Those are going to be really difficult for you to get the protein that you need. So if weight loss feels stalled, like, man, I'm stuck, energy is low, cravings are high, protein is often the first place to look. Let's look at protein. So foundation number 2, daily steps and low intensity movement. Okay. So yes, your exercise session, it matters. We're going to talk about that. But what about the movement you're doing during the day? Now, I don't want you to be like an Energizer bunny and just like nonstop go and overly anxious. That's not what I'm talking about. You do not need to burn more calories either. So I don't want you to focus on calories. You need to focus on consistent movement that doesn't spike the stress hormone. Daily movement, it can be mobility, it could be stretching, it can be a light walk, something easy. It doesn't have to be this crazy intense 6-mile walk 5 days a week. Daily steps are going to really help improve insulin sensitivity. It's going to help support digestion, so moving things through the gastrointestinal tract. It's going to lower cortisol, especially when we're nice and easy and just getting in some light movement. And then, of course, it's going to increase that fat oxidation, meaning you're going to burn more fat because you're moving more. So this is one of the most overlooked tools for postpartum fat loss and one of the most effective. Let's add in some more movement. Walking is going to definitely count. Stroller walks definitely count, and your baby's going to love that. And then parking further away, of course, is going to count. But I don't want you to do it in a way that you're always rushing and having to sprint and get the most steps, because that can be over stressful too. It is nice to self-monitor and look at where, okay, this is how many steps I'm getting per day. Let's slowly work our way up. But I don't want you to make it all about that, because that can be stressful too. We want to focus on consistency rather than intensity. Foundation number 3 is hydration. We need to hydrate. We're 60% water. This is going to be for energy, metabolism, for bowel movements, digestion, everything. So even mild dehydration, is going to increase fatigue. It's going to slow down digestion. So that's going to lead to slow motility. It's going to lead to constipation. It can lead to increased cravings. It's definitely going to impact workout performance. So even just a slight little weight loss after you work out. So let's say you weigh yourself before you go to the gym, and then after the gym you weigh yourself and you lost weight and you're like, oh my gosh, yay, I lost weight. That's actually not a good thing, because it's not fat. That's not how it works. It's fluid, it's water. And even as small as 2% of weight loss coming from fluid, that is definitely going to negatively impact your performance. So that's something to think about too. We want to go into our workout hydrated. We want to start our day hydrated. And postpartum, your fluid needs are higher, especially if you are breastfeeding, especially if you are pumping, because guess what? That's fluid. We need more water. So hydration needs are going to increase even more from pregnancy. So that's just something to think about. And then, of course, especially if you're exercising where you live and if you're under stress, we're going to need that fluid, because hydration is going to support the metabolism. It's going to support muscle function. We need the muscles to be hydrated for them to move, contract, and relax. And then it's also going to support your nervous system regulation. We want to start our hydration earlier in the day versus at the end of the day. Okay. If you're tired, if you're headachy, if you're craving sugar, check your fluids before you're blaming willpower. Check your fluid intake. Am I getting water in before I get my coffee? Am I getting water in throughout the day? Am I staying hydrated, getting in some electrolytes before I breastfeed or pump, before I go to the gym? Or am I trying to chug at the end of the day? Start where you are and then slowly progress. Now, foundation number 4 is sleep and stress support. Now, I'm almost 2.5 years postpartum. Sleep is still, it's not 100%, but I track my sleep. I can still get 7 to 8 hours, even when it's interrupted. So this is really going to be important for fat loss. Really, really important. Chronic stress and poor sleep, it's going to raise cortisol, suppress fat loss, burn muscle, slow recovery, increase your cravings, and it isn't about getting the perfect night's sleep. It's really just about supporting your nervous system, which we talked about in episode 79. So go listen to that, because we dive into really how to support your nervous system in a way that's realistic for mom life. So an earlier bedtime when possible. Let's stop the scrolling. Let's turn off Stranger Things. I know it's really hard. I'm addicted to Stranger Things, and to be honest, I'm caught up, but I have a hard boundary. I tell my husband, okay, this is what the time is. I got to wake up at 4:45. Good night. And he's like, it's the middle of the episode. Like, it just got good. Pause it. Well, it'll be there tomorrow. That can be really hard to do, especially when it comes to your phone as well. You're scrolling. More sunlight is going to be helpful. So driving without your sunglasses or stepping outside and getting some sunlight, even on a cloudy day like today when I'm recording this, it's cloudy outside, but that's still going to support my circadian rhythm, and it's still going to support sleep later on tonight. Gentle routines and less late night stimulation. So we've talked about these things on the show as well, because fat loss doesn't happen in a fight or flight. When you're stressed, we're not getting enough sleep, even when it's interrupted, and we're overly anxious and we're scrolling and we're not making these things a priority, your body's going to be in a fight or flight nervous system. You're actually going to lose muscle, and that's going to be detrimental. So those are some things that you can focus on when it comes to sleep. Now, the fifth foundation, number 5, is strength training, the long-term driver for postpartum weight loss, postpartum fat loss. Strength training is going to be the foundation that really ties everything together. Are we starting here? No, definitely not. Especially if you're 3 weeks postpartum or even within the first 6 weeks postpartum, we're focused on other things, which we dive into in week 1 of my program. And we're going to talk about in the workshop as well. We don't start with strength training, okay? We kind of end there and then we progressively change it up as we go. So it's the foundation that's really going to tie everything together because it's going to build lean muscle. It's going to improve insulin sensitivity. So it's going to support blood sugars. It's going to support bone mineral density. Hello, I'm in my 30s. I'm thinking about my 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond, supporting my bone mineral density now, supporting my bone with my muscle. That's important to me because starting at decade 3, so in your 30s, we're going to be losing muscle and bone if we don't do something about it. So that's what strength training is going to do. It's really going to help support the bone mineral density. It's going to boost confidence and posture. That's going to be awesome, right? When we have really good posture, it's going to be really great for our core, our pelvic floor. It's going to be easy for us to lift heavy things up. It's going to increase metabolic health long term. It's going to support our hormones and everything. This doesn't mean that you have to spend hours in the gym either. It means intentional, progressive strength that meets you where you are postpartum, wherever you are in your journey. So muscle is the organ of longevity and motherhood demands strength. Motherhood demands strength. So we have to get to a point where we're going to be strength training. That's not going to be the place that we're starting from though. If you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling overwhelmed, come back to these 5 things. Choose one place to start. Maybe you start with hydration. Maybe you start with the daily movement and you bring that in with your deep breathing and your pelvic floor and your core exercises that I teach you in the workshop in my program. Maybe you're ready to focus on protein. Maybe you're ready to focus on sleep and stress support. And then maybe you're ready to add in that strength training and progressively overload. You don't need to do everything perfectly. You don't need to do everything all at once. You just need to focus on these right things consistently. If you're listening to this episode and it made you think, okay, I know what to focus on. I hear this all the time. I know what to focus on, Val, but I need help putting it all together. This is your next step, mama. On January 7th at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, I'm hosting a live workshop called Start Strong, the Mom's Core Strength and Energy Workshop. And we're less than 2 weeks away from it, okay? From when this episode is being released. In this workshop, I'm going to be walking you through exactly how to support your core, rebuild strength, and restore your energy in a way that actually fits real mom life. So you're going to learn what to focus on now and what to stop stressing about. You're going to learn how to train and fuel your body without overwhelm and how to create a simple, realistic plan that you can start immediately. No guessing, no extreme. So the workshop is live via Zoom. It's going to be recorded. If you sign up, you're going to be getting full access to the replay. And bonus, everyone who registers for the free workshop is automatically going to be entered into a giveaway to win 1 free nutrition coaching session with me, an endurance supplement stack, and electrolytes from Trail Gains. And you can save your spot right now at wellnessbyval.com/workshop. So if you're ready to stop feeling stuck and start 2026 with clarity, confidence, and a real plan, I would love to have you there. You're not behind, you're not broken, and your body isn't working against you, mama. It just needs the right support. I'm cheering you on, and I hope you stay strong and stay nourished, and I'll see you next week. Hey mama, I hope you loved today's episode. If you got something out of it or simply enjoyed listening, would you please take 30 seconds to share it with another mom who could use the support? And if you haven't yet, I would be so grateful if you could leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you tune in. It truly means the world to me and it helps the show reach more amazing moms like you. All right, time to go chase my toddler around, stay strong and nourished, and I'll be back on Monday with another episode. Talk soon.